We all want cheaper GPUs right now. It's been a rough few months for everyone who's looking to build any kind of computer. Fun fact, right this very moment, we're as far removed from an RX 580 being priced at MSRP as we are from the invention of the automobile. It's a tough life out there for any PC enthusiast, system builder, and yes, even miners. And according to Nvidia, it might not be getting better anytime soon. And before I jump into the actual discussion points of the video, I want to remind you all that I love when these things become a conversation and we can discuss them in the comments. Keep it civil, keep it respectful, but I want your perspective, opinions, and feelings on this because it helps make a better community overall. So please feel free to chat down below whether you agree with me, others, or nobody at all. Got it? Great. Moving on. So apparently Mashdrop, an online platform where people commit to purchasing a product and they drop the price based on community interest, hence Mashdrop, dropping the prices anyways. They had an Aorus 1080 Ti that they were doing a sale on for about $950, which, in case you're wondering, the MSRP for a Founders Edition 1080 Ti is in the $700 region, and an aftermarket one like this Aorus model would roughly be in the $750 to $800 ballpark. So that means Mashdrop is dropping the massive price to over $100 above MSRP, which, as you can imagine if you've ever perused the comments on this channel, led to community backlash and uproar about price gouging, being ripped off, and the good old-fashioned argument of slaughter the miners. Thankfully though, instead of ignoring the communal mud wrestling contest, Mashdrop decided to respond to the hullabaloo and gave us some insight into what the minds of Nvidia are thinking about upcoming pricing on GPUs. So Brian Hutchins, affectionately known as B Hutch on the Mashdrop forums, buying manager at Mashdrop, let us in on what the industry bigwigs are discussing will happen in the upcoming few months for our precious GPU prices. First off, he let us know why we're not getting as many graphics cards as we all want. It's not new information by any stretch, but just a confirmation about everything most of us have been speculating on for quite some time. B Hutch says, all new cell phones coming out by Apple and Samsung and others last year started using the same memory as graphics cards. Apple and Samsung are willing to pay more for this memory to make sure they get it first and all of it that they need. This has created a shortage of memory for the much smaller companies like MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, and EVGA to make graphics cards, end quote. Again, this is nothing new. The RAM shortages have been castrating our ability to pick up DRAM for our shiny new Ryzen processors, and it's fully confirmed that it's come to murder our GPU aspirations as well. So I think it would be proper for us to direct some of our ire at the Apples, Samsung, and LGs of the world that are pumping out new flagship iterations of phones every year with only marginal improvements and hardly the tangible difference in specs, and for us to maybe, shake our curled pinkies at our friends who will immediately drop their Galaxy S8 as soon as the S9 is just announced. The amount of RAM in phones has been growing substantially over the years, and smartphone manufacturers are selling huge volumes of these things, which makes GPU sales seem paltry and insignificant. Not to mention the fact that the MSRP of these flagship phones are costing more than anything in the GPU realm besides Nvidia's Titan lineup. These kinds of volumes combined with that top of the wallet to your pricing makes it no wonder that our favorite GPU companies are getting outbid for the best and quickest batches of VRAM. So while it's been in vogue to put miners on the crucifix of our Roman fury for the GPU shortages and pricing, they're only one part of this complex puzzle of economicals. Let's maybe all take a moment of silence in rage against phone companies as well. Well, we're seeing supply issues on the side of VRAM for GPUs, and then there's the obvious mining demand issue that B Hutch addresses, but the most interesting portion for me was what he said Nvidia's projections for GPU pricing will be. Quoting the Hutchster once again, while Nvidia was here, they also let us know that the pricing in the market will continue to go up through Q3 of this year, most likely before we start seeing any type of relief. So unfortunately, the end to this is not right around the corner, and we have not seen the worst of it yet. That was painful to read, as I'm sure most of you felt it was painful to hear. The most agonizing bit, we have not seen the worst of it yet. What the crap does that mean? That super sobering quip flies in the face of everything I want to happen and kinda all of us are desperately hoping for. So Nvidia is expecting for us to have even higher pricing before we reach the holiday season, which is It's just a reality I shudder at because I'm not sure how prices could even get that much higher before people will just have to stop buying gaming PCs altogether and switch over to a PS4. However, I guess one of the look at the bright side aspects of this is that there's no real indication that it has to be this way, just that they think it will happen. So this is discussion time for us. Does it have to be this way? Are we doomed to higher GPU prices until the cows come home, or is there a set of circumstances that are likely to happen that could potentially alleviate our wallets here? I mean, towards the beginning of February, when crypto prices were dropping harder than a rogue unicorn turd, I made a video speculating that GPU prices would go down due to 1, the lower crypto prices, and then 2, the higher mining difficulty, both of which would make mining less profitable. And while the prices of our favorite cryptos have done a slight rebound to not be inducing fears of a worldwide crypto apocalypse, mining difficulty on many of the GPU-friendly currencies have continued to stay near all-time highs or continuing to rise, meaning that their swinging the electronic pickaxe is becoming less efficient with each swing. That's led to mining profitability to be at levels that they were at just before we started seeing every single retailer dry up faster than a raisin production house. So the conditions are still ripe in my eyes to see GPU prices to start normalizing. Apparently, however, some Nvidia honchos are on the opposite end of that prognosis. The RAM pricing is a definite problem that's creating constraint, and if they're seeing that the allocation of VRAM is becoming worse as time goes on, and the phone companies really are gobbling up the produced memory in increasing amounts, then that could likely continue the dearth of graphics cards irrespective of whether or not miners are taking them. Lack of supply, even with decreased demand, could continue issues on our side being able to grab cards. But let's examine this from another perspective. So with the current slowdown of crypto prices, current GPU prices should start to see a decline if RAM issues stay the same and not get worse, because mining has just gotten to the point where it's not as insanely good as it was a month or two ago. However, then why would Nvidia say prices are going to continue to climb? Because they're going to be launching new cards in just about a month at GTC. But why would a new graphics card release increase prices, Brett? Is Nvidia just preparing us to pay more for the new Ampere series that are coming out? No, I don't think so. I'm fairly certain that the Ampere cards are just going to see just a nominal price bump over Pascal. But it seems that Nvidia might be betting on them being popular for mining as well if they're confident that prices are going to increase up until Q3. Even if there are rumors that Nvidia might be launching a mining series of cards, there's little they're likely going to do to limit the consumer card's ability to mine. They're not going to, brick them just so you can't mine on the new GTX 20 whatever, which means that faster GPUs that are more efficient than Pascal will be better enough than what's currently on the market to warrant picking up the Ampere cards over any GTX 10 series. The better mining cards would mean that the current difficulty would be less of a concern due to their stronger performance, meaning for the same MSRP as current gen, you'll get gorgeous, sweet profits of the bygone crypto bubble. Everything is going to go back to the peak numbers, which means, you guessed it, the cycle of terrible stock and insane prices will begin afresh, but instead of it being the GTX 1080 Ti's that cost over $1,000, it'll be the brand new 2080s that'll see those hilariously high costs because they'll actually bring a pretty ROI for anyone quick enough to snap one up. This will be good news for anyone looking to buy on the used market for a Pascal card, provided, you can handle the wear and tear from mining. However, it also means that Voltamperoni will be as elusive as the Keebler elf on Groundhog's Day and twice as expensive. And considering Nvidia was talking about new card prices with the hutch, that's more than likely their concern, even if you are going to be able to get a GTX 1060 for $35 off of Craigslist. I mean, we can dream, right? So they're talking about the new card pricing instead of the old card pricing. We might see declines in Pascal, but Volta, Ampere doesn't matter, or even Turing are probably going to be out of stock quite soon, quite quickly, and that means that we're gonna have to spend a whole lot of money for them. Anyways, what do you all think? I said I wanted this to be a discussion, and those are kind of my thoughts on the matter, but I wanna know where you all stand. Do you think there's other factors I'm not considering when it comes to the pricing of GPUs? Do you think Nvidia peeps are correct? Hope they're wrong. Let me know any and all of your positions either down in the comments or over on Twitter, I am at UFDisciple. Be sure to smash that like button if you like these types of dialogue videos about current topics. Will let me know if we should, continue doing them. And if you're new around here, be sure to get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. And if you're not new and you're one of those people that constantly come back to the channel without subscribing just to check up on new videos, stop it and get subscribed too. Anyways, I'm Brett with the UFD Tech channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.